Is auction the best way to sell a property?
Well, look, Chris, I make a living out of auctions, and I'd like to list more auctions to have. I did 10 on Saturday, and they were all very successful. 9 sold out of 10. 1 was withdrawn. But what I will say is I don't think that every property is suited to auction, which is probably not what you'd expect from an auctioneer or an auction supporter to say. I think that, Chris, that some properties don't have the demand and supply curve that suggests that they're going to have a lot of people bidding at the property. And with that in mind, I would examine that there could be other methods of sales that an agent should use.
And so how does a vendor know? Because obviously they're going to be trusting the agents, and the agent's going to say a certain thing, and for whatever reason they may be biased towards a certain thing. So how does someone know for their particular property in their particular suburb?
Okay, so a few rules. Number one is the suburb and the region of Australia has a big factor. There are some suburbs, Chris, that are auction-friendly suburbs. An auction-friendly suburb is one where most of the property, the method of sale is auction in that marketplace. And it's because the demand and supply means that there's a shortage of properties and there's lots of buyers. The second thing that you've got to look at is the type of property. There are certain properties that are not suited to going to auction. If you're looking at an inner city unit and there's hundreds of those units on the market, the bottom line is if a buyer missed out of one, he can buy another, or she can buy another property. So the issue is that the kind of property, and generally what I find is that unique houses or properties that are very much sought after are suited to the auction. Suburbs where you've got big demand and there's a total shortage of listings are suited to auction. The other thing that you've got to probably take into mind when picking whether you should go auction or private treaty is don't go to auction with a bad auction agent, because having a great auction, auctions are great, Chris, because, we're just finishing the Olympic Games and we saw, competition wins gold medals at these Olympic Games, and I see every weekend, I see properties that sell for $100,000 over the reserve price, and I say to myself, if that owner hadn't gone to auction, they would have undersold their house by $100,000. So I see that. But I also see situations where there would be no people coming to a property because the agent that they've employed does not understand how to run a successful auction. There's a lot of bits to it. There's a lot of strategy to it. The price quoting, the marketing, the follow-up, positioning of the buyers. So it's a whole strategy in place, and if you pick the wrong agent, you can actually have a disaster on your hands.
As always, Tom, there's never a black and white answer. It just depends, doesn't it? All right, good to see you, Tom. We'll see you again next week.
Thanks a lot, Chris.